Hi, my name's Wendy Hampton. I'm the owner and founder of Equipped Marketing in Edmond, Oklahoma. And I've been in marketing since 2003, where I graduated from the University of Oklahoma with an advertising degree from the Gaylord College of Journalism. And my career took me to a television station initially where I sold advertising for 16 years. And then throughout the digital transition, I decided that I wanted to be able to offer all the tools in my toolbox to my clients. So I branched out and started my own agency. So the primary responsibilities of my job are to ensure that my clients are getting a return on their investment. Lots of marketing students and advertising students might not know that our main goal and what we are in charge of ultimately is revenue. So as long as the revenue is increasing for our clients with our campaigns, then they're happy. A typical work day for me is kind of chaotic, but in a fun way. It's very fluid and always changing. I usually reach out to my team. I have 5 sellers and they are in charge of up to 10 accounts on their own of their clients. So we just touch base in the mornings to make sure there's nothing on the agenda that I need to attend with their clients. And then it's, 100 emails, putting out fires. I tell people being in marketing is really like being a firefighter. You are putting out problems all day long or solving problems all day long. Well, technically my job doesn't actually require any educational background. You could come right out of college if you're hardworking and you learn the ropes in advertising and marketing. You technically don't need an advertising or marketing degree. You just need to be very versed in how marketing works, what the new types of marketing exist, and then you just need to learn a lot about the different categories of businesses that you're working with and ensure that that matches their goals and who you're looking for. The most challenging aspect of marketing would be controlling your clients' expectations. Not every marketing campaign is going to be a win. And as long as you're controlling the expectations, understanding their return on investment, and making sure that you're creating a win-win situation for you and your client, it shouldn't be as challenging as it can be. The most enjoyable part of my job is working with clients and working with people and working with all different types of industries. I'm never bored. I don't know about a little bit about all different categories, which is super fun for me, and the people. So when you get to create successful campaigns for your clients and they're making money and you're making money and everyone's happy, it's super fun. When I meet with a client, I talk about budgets initially after I tell them about all the things that I think would work well for their category. I recommend that businesses spend at least 5% of their gross sales on marketing, and that's just to keep with the top of mind awareness of their competition and keeping you on an even playing field with your competition. So if your business does $1 million in sales, then you should be spending a minimum of $50,000 a year on advertising. And then how should you spread this advertising out? Well, in my experience, it's best to take 60% of those dollars and divide them evenly out between all 12 months. So you are keeping the top of mind awareness with your target audience. And then take that other 40% and put those into your heavy months. So for example, heat and air companies, they make the most of their money in May, June, and July. So then for a heat and air company, I would take that 40% of their budget and put it into those 3 months. Because when it's their highest revenue months, it's also their competition's highest revenue months, which means there's higher demand, and so there's more of an opportunity to steal market share from the competition. When I choose channels to market for my different clients, I do a deep dive first into how they look online digitally, how they compare to their competition, who's the most successful person in their category and what are they doing to generate revenue. And then based on my client's budget, we can reverse engineer it into what they can afford, what our long-term goals are, and what our short-term goals are. I guess whether something was a successful campaign or not a successful campaign would depend on what the expectations of the client were. So if the expectations of the client were branding and it wasn't necessarily a sales goal, I mean, we all love those types of clients, right? But then we have to find out if the branding worked. And how would we figure that out? We would do a focus group. We would find out if people are talking about them. We would, ask questions in local Facebook groups to see what kind of answers we're getting from the public. That would be for a branding campaign. And then metrics for a sales campaign or a revenue-driven campaign would be, our cost per click, how many calls we got, how many contact forms we got through someone's website. And then we can reverse engineer based on who we know were customers through those touches. And then we can find out how much they spent, and then how much we spent, and then we should see a good return on our investment. Humor. Engagement and retention of a product is based on fun and entertainment, and people like to be entertained and engaged and to laugh. So my recommendation is to make your audience laugh, and they'll remember who you are.